a curious encounter with a dog owner. She comes up to me with attitude, and she says, "What's going on?" I said, "Your dog just bit me. I had to get treated for rabies. I had excruciating pain shooting up the inside of my arm." And this dog sitter takes a stand. Unless you think that she bit herself, or that she could have easily gotten bit by another dog, you sound like a fool. That's your opinion. My opinion's the only one that counts. Judge Judy, you are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Elena Pitt is suing her neighbor, Josefina Garcia, for medical bills and punitive damages resulting from a dog bite. Order. All rise. Yes. Case number 128 on the count of the matter of Pitt versus Garcia. Thank you. You're welcome. Judge, party's been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please. Okay. The case is not a difficult one. Just the decision is a difficult one. You were driving in your car? No, ma'am. You were walking. I was walking. I was outside of my apartment complex. I was talking to a friend of mine, and you saw a small dog. Yes. Small, white poodle. Yes. Ma'am, how much did it weigh? It's estimated in the report about 6 pounds. And it was without an owner and without a leash and a collar. No collar. No, ma'am. The dog belongs to you. Yes. At some point, you went over to the dog to see if... No. The dog came to me, and you bent down. Yes, ma'am. What happened when you bent down? He smelled my hand. I was petting him. And then he left. And he crossed the road. And he almost got hit by a car for the second time. How large a road is that? It's a one-way circle. And in the middle of that traffic circle, there's a park. And did you follow the dog with your eyes? Yes, ma'am. You saw it cross the road. Then what did you do? I looked for the owner. Given that it is a park, some owners will let their dogs off leash. But they're nearby. Yeah, and I didn't see anybody in the park. So the dog crossed the road again. And I crossed back towards you. Back towards me. Yes. So I kneeled down again. The dog came over to me. He smelled my hand. I was petting him. So I evaluated the situation. He didn't seem aggressive. So I felt comfortable enough. I didn't want him to get hit by a car. His safety. I was concerned. I didn't want him to get hit. I got it. So I went to pick him up. And he turned around. And he bit me 3 times on the left hand. I have photos of the injuries. Okay, so now you have your hand. Your hand is right. Did you put the dog? I assume you put the dog down. I let go. And then I said, he's going to go home to back where he lives. So I watched to see where he walked. And I followed him at a safe distance. And he was in front of the M's, Garcia's apartment complex. Okay, about how far is that from where you were? It's not that far. There's my apartment complex, a duplex, and then her apartment complex. So then, just around the corner. Did you say around the corner? Yes, it's around the corner. So you had to go around a corner and take me step by step. So the dog went to the apartment complex. Yes, ma'am. He went in front of the building. He was smelling around. A neighbor had come out of that same apartment complex with her small dog. And I said, be careful. That dog just bit me. And she had said, it happens all the time. He's out. Okay, you can't tell me what you said. How did you find the defendant? Okay, I was on the phone with animal control reporting the case. And while I was on the phone, Miss Garcia's daughter exited the apartment complex. How old is her daughter? She's school-aged. I'd say she's probably middle school. I'm not sure. And I said, is that your dog? Yes, it is. I said, well, he just bit me. And I showed her my hand. I had blood on my hand. And she said, what? At that time, Miss Garcia was getting out of her vehicle. She comes up to me with attitude. And she says, what's going on? And then I said, your dog just bit me. So she walks up to her daughter. The daughter's now holding the dog. And the daughter says to Miss Garcia, yeah, she's claiming that he bit her. And I said, he did. Look at the blood on my hand. I did not say that. Okay, this is not the daughter. Your Honor. No, I understand. Yeah, I got it. I put it all together. Okay, now I'll see pictures of your hand. The animal control report also states that Miss Garcia could not provide proof that the dog had its rabies vaccinations. So because of that, I had to get treated for rabies. I had excruciating pain shooting up the inside of my arm. Tell me about the rabe. It's been so long. You used to have to get shots in your stomach for rabies. It's a series of 4 injections in your upper arm, in your shoulder. And you got that over what period of time? Within like 3 weeks? I have that here as well. 2. Okay, did you ever see this lady? Did you ever see her? You saw me at the door. Ma'am, don't lie. I don't want to hear you unless I ask you a question. Do you understand that? Yes, Your Honor. You never saw her. No, ma'am. The only two people that you saw on that day were Miss Garcia and her school-age daughter. Yes, ma'am. Liar. You weren't home, so you don't know what happened. No, ma'am. You were in your car. Yes, ma'am. So you don't know what happened. No, you left your dog to go where? My dog. You left your dog and your daughter to go where? No. No. You were in your car. Listen to me. You were in your car, which means you had to have left your home at some point. Yes. Do you understand my words? Yes. Ma'am, where did you go? I went to the store. Okay, so you left your dog and your daughter. Who was how old? No, I did not. No, I called my friend Carla to take care of my kids because I was going to go to the store. You're not paying attention. I don't care who was watching them. What I said to you was accurate. Yes, you left your dog and your daughter to go to the store. I didn't ask you who was watching them at the time. No, not to my daughter. So somebody was watching your dog. Carla was there with my daughters. Show me the rabies shots for the dog. Sure. Go back there. Yeah. Sure. On what date did this happen? This was maybe like almost 3 months ago. It was on Saturday. Just a second. It was March 25th, Your Honor. Excuse me, March 25th. And I have the animal control report saying that in order for her to get her dog back, she has to pay to have the rabies shots done. It's because I didn't have the shots at the moment, right? It also says in there that she could not provide proof. That is the proof. I want you to show me where your dog was vaccinated for rabies before March 26th of 2016. I took him somewhere in San Jose. I don't believe you. Why not? Because I don't believe you. You have the proof with you. No, I don't. That's all I'm looking at. I'm saying to you, where did you take your dog for rabies shots? Listen, if your dog bit her, whether you think she shouldn't have picked up your dog or not, a reasonably intelligent person would say, my dog has been vaccinated for rabies. Here is the vet who vaccinated the dog. So you don't have to get a series of rabies shots. And unless you're telling me that you're not a reasonably intelligent person, I'm telling you that I don't believe that you could prove that your dog had shots, but you have the proof in your hands. Show me. Okay, show me the proof. Okay, stay there. Sure, let me do this for you. Okay, this is the place. Well, it's all this statement. This is the place where I took my dog in San Jose, and they give me this. This is 2014. Well, can you explain to me why you didn't provide this to animal control? I didn't have it at the moment. When were you notified that she had had a rabies vaccine? I was not notified at all. Notified that she ever... That's why I was treated for rabies. Your Honor. Ever. When did you get this? I don't know. Last week. Last week. Oh, yes? I have the original. But I couldn't find it. So I called them, and I tell them that I need it. When did you tell animal control that the dog had been treated for rabies? Oh, when they came to my house. But I couldn't find it. That's why they took my dog in. Did you ever pay the impound bill? Not yet. Now, you want to say something to me? I do. Your Honor, if I can... May I? Sure. Thank you. Your Honor, so I'm here as a witness. Listen to me. I only have a couple of questions for you. Yes. You were supposed to be in charge of the dog. Yes, ma'am. Good. How did the dog get out? Don't look at me. How did the dog get out? When she left the house. Princess. I called her Princess. Ran out. So as soon as she ran out, I ran after it. The dog is trained not to leave. Don't tell me what the dog is trained to do. Okay, as soon as the dog ran out, you ran out after her. I ran after her. I picked her up. And that's when the defendant here saw us and gave me a bad look. So I said, okay. And that moment in time, when I got the dog, Josie arrived. At that time, she came angry at her, saying, your dog bit me. She was holding her hand. Sit down. I have no question in my mind. Miss Sanchez, that the plaintiff is telling me the truth, that she watched the dog on 2 separate occasions cross the street. You can look at me all I like this with big wide eyes. That she watched the dog cross the street twice. That she was trying to be a good Samaritan because the dog neither had a collar or a leash. That the dog was unsupervised by you or by her. The dog never left the building. Listen to me carefully. There's no question in my mind that she was bitten by this dog. And you were not present when she was bitten by the dog. I was not present because the dog was never out. I had the dog in my hand the whole time. What I'm telling you is, I don't believe you. Nobody. Why? Yes. Why? Because I'm going to ask her a couple of questions. Have you been psychiatrically hospitalized in the last 5 years? No. Ma'am. Are you currently taking any psychotropic medication? No. Ma'am? Because unless you think that she bit herself on the hand, or that some other dog, she could have easily gotten bit by another dog. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you something. She has no picture. She has no picture. She has no witness. Listen to me. She doesn't have to have a witness. She has her word against hers. I'm sorry. You sound like a fool. I don't because I know what I'm saying. Are you trying to sound like a fool? You sound like a fool. I'm trying to sound what it is. You sound like a fool. That's your opinion. No, my opinion's the only one that counts, which I understand. You sound like a fool because you've just heard this woman testify. Right. Totally credibly that she was bitten by a small white poodle. That she was greeted. Don't show me a picture. I don't care to see a picture. I love dogs. You know, it's not that I'm not a dog lover. I'm a dog lover. And you weren't there. No. And you weren't home. I have the report from Animal Control. And this is a formal report. I'm going to read some of the things it says to you. Okay, Your Honor. A formal report? Quiet. Oh, God. A neighbor said, your dog is frequently loose. That's what the Animal Control report says. That's what she told the Animal Control. That's what a neighbor said, that your dog is frequently loose. I don't believe her at all. And you weren't there. I don't believe her at all. And you weren't there. So somebody who has clearly been bitten by a dog identified the dog to Animal Control. Identified the dog. She followed the dog. So if you think that this witness says she has no proof, she has no witness, and it's my word against hers, one sounds ridiculous. And one is a cogent, linear, factual story buttressed by photographs and medical records. Do you understand? Judge Judy continues in a moment. You didn't do a good job. I did do a good job. Now we're done. Now you can sit. Now we're done. Now you can sit. I always have the last word. Real cases. Real people. Judge Judy. Elena Pitt says neighbor Josefina Garcia owes for medical bills and punitive damages resulting from a dog bite. You are totally responsible for her medical bills. Totally. And since you were neglectful, she was not neglectful. Listen to me. I don't believe you. Miss Sanchez, I can't tell you in how many languages I can't say I don't believe you. And I understand that you don't, but you have the proof. I do have all the proof I need. I have the dog bite. I have logic. And I have 50 years of being a lawyer, which is great. Good for you. Congratulations. And there is no question in my mind that the defendant's dog bit her. The defendant wasn't there. And if you were the one responsible for taking care of the dog that day, you didn't do a good job. I did do a good job. Now we're done. Now you can sit. Thank you. Now we're done. Now you can sit. I always have the last word. That's okay. Now we're done. Now we're done. Now you can sit. Thank you. Now I'd like to see your medical bills. This is for the office visit. My injections are included in my premiums. That's what we pay bi-weekly for our medical. By the way, did you ever contact Mrs. Garcia after this happened? I had a lawyer, Your Honor, and he wrote a letter, which I have here, contacting her to respond within a certain amount of time so we could settle this. She did not respond. Do you own your apartment? Or do you rent your apartment? I rent my apartment. Do you have renter's insurance? No. And that's why my lawyer dropped my case. So your out-of-pocket expenses were minimal. Right. Yes, were minimal. So pain and suffering. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1. Fianced. We're finished. Thank you. Thank you. Your Honor. Why is our excuse? Let me step out. This lady, she's such a liar. I saw a white poodle. I didn't know. She doesn't like Latinos. What race its owners were? I mean, oh, definitely. Yes, for sure. That's kind of crazy for them. Look at her face. How she's laughing to even say that. I mean, she's just a liar. Justice was served. Finally, she couldn't avoid Judge Judy. Judge Judy saw right through her. And now, the next case. All parties in the matter of Haskin versus Lopez. Step forward. Esther Haskin is suing her ex-boyfriend, Tony Lopez, for an unpaid gambling loan and for property damage. Tony is countersuing also for property damage. Saskia, the defendant is your ex-boyfriend, and it is your claim that he owes you some money for a loan that you gave him after a gambling trip that the two of you took together, where he lost, and also that he damaged some of your property. Mr. Lopez says there was never any loan, that the check that you wrote to him was gambling money. The agreement between the two of you was he would go gambling. If he won, he would split his winnings with you. And if he lost, that's what happens when you gamble. He's got a counterclaim because he says you damaged his property, his doors. Okay, Judge Judy continues in a moment. How much money did you take with you? $300. How much money did you take with you? Probably $1. Dandalus? And you gambled your $1. Nasadonda. You gambled your $300? Yes. Now I'm going to ask you where the $800 came from. Asking me. Yes. Ha ha. Real cases. Real people. Judge Judy, Esther Haskin is suing her ex-boyfriend, Tony Lopez, for an unpaid gambling loan and for property damage. Tony is countersuing also for property damage. Now, when and where did you go on this little gambling trip? In April this year. Where did you go? We went to Reno. Where do you live? In Stockton. How long did you go for? We were there for 2 hours. Probably 2 hours. At Reno. Yeah, 2 hours. It was fast. So you just went there to gamble? Yes. How much money did you take with you? I took 300 AKU. How much money did you take with you? Probably $1. No. And you gambled your $1 monos? You gambled your 300. Yes. Is that right? Yes. Yes. I'm just trying to get the facts. This is not rocket science. You took 300? You took $1. No, you took $300, I assume, in cash. And you took $1, 0 zeros in cash. Yes. Okay. Fine. Did you win or lose? I lost. Did you win or lose? I lost. So everybody lost. Did you lose everything you had? No, I never do. I lost about $200. And what about you? I lost it all. Okay. So now I'm going to ask you where the $800 came from. Asking me? Yes. Well, she gave me $800. Just a second. When, you know what? It was after the fact. After you went gambling and lost your $100? No. Yes. And what did she give you the $800 for? She gave me the money because I was going to bounce a check to the bank for gambling. You know? And then so she wrote me the check for $800 so I wouldn't bounce the check. Great. So that you owe her the $800? Yes. And wonderful. Wasn't that easy? 800? Now, you want to tell me about the property that he damaged of yours. It was prior to this in February. I'm not interested in February if you went gambling together. It was my flat iron. Listen to me. I don't care what happened in February if you and your boyfriend went gambling together in April. Do you understand? Yes. Perfect. So he owes you $800. Didn't damage any of your property after the $800. Did he? Well, no. He just threatened me. The answer is either yes or no. No. Okay. And when did the two of you cease to become a couple? It was right at the same time. In April. In April. Okay. Now we're going to get to your counterclaim. Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Want Justice? Go to Judge Judy. Come like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Tell me about it. She damaged my property here. She kicked in. What date? It was back in January. I don't care. Okay. Do you understand? Because between January and February and April, you were intimate together. You went to dinner together. You were a couple together. You went gambling together. She gave you $800 to cover your bills. So if you weren't hot and heavy about your door in January and you weren't hot and heavy about whatever he broke in February, I don't care about it in June. Okay, 800. Are we finished? Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of 800. We're done. All right. Judge Judy, please step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, she's a lot older than I am. She's very insecure. I was just blinded. I guess she's always thinking I'm cheating on her and stuff like that. He was charming. Kicked in the doors of my bedroom and my bathroom. He broke in my door before. 2. She wrote liar on my refrigerator. I wrote liar. Yeah. But you know, he did a lot worse to me. Go younger. He wrecked my truck. Wrecked my car. Broke my helmet. Broke my laptop. My iPad. My 3 phones. It was fair. I guess it was fair that I never see him.